Good afternoon, dear friends. So, as you all know that we have learned about organizational skills of Shivaji Maharaj. In this period, we are going to learn about carrying of riot. So, in the last period, I have told you about what is riot. So, whenever any power that will trouble the farmers, Shivaji Maharaj would give utmost punishment to them. So, Shivaji Maharaj warned the Deshmukh of the Rohida Valley not to fail in his duty towards the riot. He told Deshmukh to visit every village and shift people to a safe place down the ghats. So whenever there would be any fight, so the Deshmukhs of the Rohida family was informed that you will shift the people to the safe place wherever necessary, right? He strictly told them not to delay even for a moment. You leave every work, you leave whatever you're doing, you leave it. But the first work, whenever there is a fight, is to make people shift to any places where there is safety, right? He further warned the Deshmukh that if he did not thus take care of the riot, the Mughal army would take the people prisoner and then it would be seen as the Deshmukh doing. So he warned the Deshmukh, he strictly warned the Deshmukh that even if whenever he would not take care of the riot, the Mughal army would take the people and it would be seen that it is Deshmukh's doing, means Deshmukh is behind all this work, right? Maharaj also saw to it that the soldiers did not in any way cause harm to the riot. He also saw that the soldiers, the Maratha soldiers, would not do any harm to his own people. If you know that if any soldier want anything from the farmers, he takes without asking. He take the part of the agriculture, he take the part of the crop without asking. Means it is harming the farmers. So if any soldiers would bully the farmers, Shivaji Maharaj would not punish him in any way, he would punish him in any way. Now policy regarding the army. Policy regarding the army. So what is the policy regarding the army? Maharaj maintained a strict discipline in the army, right? He was particular about paying the salaries of the army in time. He made arrangement to pay the salaries of soldiers in cash. In various kingdoms, in medieval India and elsewhere, there was a system of making payments to the soldier in the form of jagirs. Maharaj set this practice aside. There was a strict order to the army that any valuables collected during the campaigns in enemy territories were to be deposited in the government. So in the medieval India and in the ancient times, the salaries were given in the form of jagirs, in the form of places, like you take this kingdom, you take the Maratha kingdom, you take this Goa kingdom, you take this kingdom. So now the policy was changed. Shivaji Maharaj changed the policy and he started giving salaries on time, and the salaries was what? Payment, right? Cash. He used to give salaries in cash. This was the policy made by Shivaji Maharaj. So there was also a strict order that any valuable thing like gold, silver or any valuable thing if found in that enemy territory, it was to be handed to the government of Swaraj. The whole valuables were to be handed to the government of Swaraj, right? Soldiers was honored for their bravery in the campaign. He looked after the maintenance of the families of soldiers who died in the battle. So he took very care of the soldiers and he looked after the maintenance of the family. If soldiers died in the battle, he not used to simply leave it as the soldiers were poor and all. He used to take maintenance of the family who died in the battle. He took care of the wounded soldiers. He also took care of the wounded soldiers. He treated well the enemy soldiers who had surrendered themselves or who had been captured. Means he used to behave, he treated well even the soldiers of the enemy who has been surrendered or captured. So these are the works of who? An ideal ruler. If the ruler is good, if he takes care of his people, if he looks after the welfare of the subject, then only he is an ideal ruler. Then only he will be inspired by many people will take inspiration from him, then only he can become an ideal ruler. Okay? So now do you know, if war broke out during the period of sowing, growing, reaping of crops, there would be no limit to the loss of farmers. Not only would the movement of army interfere with the work of sowing, but the soldiers would cut off and take away standing crops or would destroy them. They would rob the houses of farmers. Shivaji Maharaj had ordered that officers to prohibit his soldiers from doing such actions. See, whenever a war broke, whenever there is a war, so what soldiers will do, they will cut off the standing crops. Means wherever there is sowing, reaping or growing of crops, the soldiers will cut off the crops and they will take away the crops and they will rob the houses of the farmers. Rob means they would steal the houses of the farmers. So this was a very, they would destroy all the crops. So the farmers was very in trouble. Okay. So Shivaji Maharaj ordered this to prohibit this, means not to do this because of the soldiers. He strictly warned the soldiers. The letter written by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in 1674 CE to his military officers is very important in this regard. So he wrote a letter to the military organization that he would not do such actions related to farmers, right? It shows how minutely Shivaji Maharaj thought about the discipline in the army. So it shows that how minutely, means not only he used to make attention in the fights or in the fighting campaigns or in the enemy territory. He also used that our soldiers he should not destroy the territory of the farmers, right? So this is very thinking about discipline of the army. If you harass or trouble the subjects belonging to different castes by robbing them of their grains, fodder, grass, vegetables, those subjects would leave their houses and migrate elsewhere. Many of them would starve to death. It would be as if you are more atrocious than the Mughals, there would be great uproar. See, if the soldiers will attack people, you know what they will do? They will rob their houses of the farmers. So where they will go? The farmers will migrate there. They won't have food to eat, they won't have shelters to live. So what will happen? They would starve and they would die. So what would be the reason? The reason behind this is the Maratha soldiers. So they would be more and more cruel than the Mughals, right? Now a policy of tolerance. Maharaj had to struggle against his enemies. The Adil Shah, the Mughals and the Siddhis, they were Islamic powers. While Maharaj struggled against them, he considered the Muslims in the Swaraj as his own subject. At the time of the meeting with Afzal Khan, Siddhi Ibrahim was a trusted servant in the army. Siddhi Hilal was the Sardar in the army Maharaj. Daulat Khan was an important officer in the navy of the Swaraj. So policy of tolerance. You know the Mughals were all Muslims. Not all, but many of the Mughals were Muslims. So it was divided between Hindu and Muslim the fight. But Shivaji Maharaj was not against the Muslim. They were against the Mughals who are cruel to the people. So there were many soldiers in the Maratha army who were Muslims. Like Siddhi Ibrahim was a trusted servant in the army. Siddhi Hilal, Daulat Khan. So these are all the military officers who were Muslims. So they were having a high post, right? Maharaj followed a tolerant religious policy in the enemy territories that he conquered. He continued the facilities that had been given to the Muslim places of worship. So he continued the facilities that was given to the Muslim places in the worship. His contemporary historian Khalifan writes about the tolerant religious policy of the Maharaj. So contemporary book means Khalifan writes about the tolerant religious policy of Maharaj. Shivaji had framed strict rules for the soldiers that during the campaign they should not harm a mosque. If they come in possession or a copy of Holy Quran, they should hand over the same with reference to you Muslims. Okay? So if they found any holy book of Quran in the fight, so they would hand over that Muslim Holy Quran book to the Muslims with proper respect and care. Okay? So these are all works of the ideal ruler. So we will continue this lesson in the next period. Till then you have to learn all the policy of tolerance, organizational skill and caring of the riot. We will make a test in the next lesson. Okay? Thank you.